Was Shelby Oaks any good? Meh. Before we get into it though, we want to ask you guys to please like the video if you guys liked it, comment your thoughts down below, and give a sub if you think we deserved it. And with that, we'll get into it. Jay, what is Shelby Oaks?
Shelby Oaks is a movie about a girl that goes missing. She has a YouTube channel about paranormal encounters, and she goes about this movie with the older sister trying to track down where this younger sister went. And that's what it follows. And I'm not going to give anything else away because anything further I think is a bit much. But for a little context, I think I can say this. Shelby Oaks is this ghost town where it's been totally deserted. And as the movie unravels, you kind of find out a little bit more about why it's been deserted.
That's fair. A very interesting movie. We're going to jump into the story for you guys. Oz, what did you think of the story of this movie?
The overall story of Shelby Oaks, I think it works. I mean, it's trying to do like 6 different things, and I think it succeeds really well at like 3 of those things. And I think...
And I wish it would have focused on those 3 things.
And a little bit of background, this is a movie directed by Chris Stuckmann, YouTube movie reviewer. And if you're familiar at all with Chris Stuckmann, you know that if you're a deep Chris Stuckmann fan, I grew up with Chris Stuckmann, no joke intended there. That's an inside joke. I grew up with Jeremy Johns, the Schmoes, so I'm an OG fan. And I knew going into this, I wasn't expecting much screenplay-wise with Chris Stuckmann, because he can do a lot of things really well. Screenwriting is not his strong suit, and it shows in this. And the story, I think, suffers because of it. But what did you guys think?
Go ahead.
Well, I definitely have a couple questions about the story, but I think the biggest question I have is leaning into spoiler territory.
Yeah, I agree.
I did really enjoy... It is hard to talk about it without getting into spoilers. There was an aspect of the movie that I would say, is it spoilery? I guess we can bleep it out. It was similar to Prisoners. I got a Prisoners vibe towards the end.
Yeah, again, that's one of those things. It's a mishmash of several different movies. You can tell Chris Stuckmann is trying to do what movies he loved did, if that makes sense. And again, Prisoners is one of them, Signs is one of them, Hereditary is one of them. And I think when he nails it, it's because he's doing his own thing. Yeah. And that's when it works. It's when he's not trying to pay homage to other things.
The best part of the movie was like that first 10 minutes. And the ending of that 10 minutes, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it might have been 20, 30
like
minutes of the movie. When, I mean, it hard cuts and it says Mike Flanagan presents. I'm like, I'm on board with this movie. Yeah. This is awesome.
That was the best part.
And then after that, we get a couple peaks and valleys, I think.
There are a couple moments where that had me on the edge of my seat, but it's the way that it ends that leaves me going, what were we here for?
Yeah, and that's the problem, is how this movie ends. And a lot of times with movies like this, with stories like this, I care enough to go back and look a little deeper. The Green Knight's a perfect example of a movie that I hated at first.
Total turnaround.
Wanted to go back and rewatch it, and I love The Green Knight now. I don't feel that with this movie. I think there are things in this movie that I really enjoyed. And let's jump into characters now.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody in this movie is doing the best they can with what Chris Stuckmann wrote. Yeah. You watch it, and they're delivering Chris's lines the best possible way that they can. And I think that the lead actress, Camille Sullivan, I think does a really good job in this movie at playing somebody who's struggling with a lot of different things. Her own personal life with her husband and trying to find her sister. You believe everything that she's going through.
Yes.
And I think that the relationship between her and her sister, who you don't see a whole lot of, is very strong. And I think that is one of the better aspects of this movie. What did you guys think of the characters?
I think they were good to an extent, and then you get the symbolism throughout it, and it's kind of beating you over the head with it. And I'm like, okay, this is a bit too much now. I am getting a little bored of this, because I'm like, okay, we get it. They are close.
Yeah.
I liked the Keith David cameo.
Yeah, he was the warden. Yeah, that was cool. I think, again,
just showed up.
Again, a lot of the dialogue is just feels unnatural. People don't say these things, and I get, and this is kind of going more into vibe, I think. We can go into Dave's vibe corner now. This is going to be the final thing we're going to talk about, is the vibe of this movie. I think I can understand the choice It's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer. If you want to avoid this, if you want to go in blind, then skip to this timestamp on the screen right here. Opens up after the first 20 minutes. A guy shoots himself in the head, and she's got like blood on her face for like the whole day. Like she just kept that blood on her face, and I get that like Chris Stuckmann is trying to say like, oh, she was just so,
In shock.
and she was so invested in figuring out what Shelby Oaks was and get that tape. To me, it was stupid.
People don't do that.
Yeah, people don't leave blood on their faces for that long a time, and it was driving me crazy. Am I alone in this?
No, I agree with you there.
And there are several things that happen in this movie too, where it's things people don't do this.
Can I talk about, because I think it's in the trailer, her going to that abandoned building.
Yeah, all alone.
All by herself in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
No normal person does that. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
One thing that I do feel is huge missed opportunity is the fact that this all takes place in this abandoned town, and we do nothing with that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
We
you
don't
could
see
make
much
that.
of it.
You can make that so cool.
The
And
name
we
of the
went
movie.
Nowhere with it.
Yeah.
We explain why it ended up the way it was, but we didn't do anything with it. I'm like, this sets such a cool stage that we did nothing with.
Yeah.
Now, I would say I'm a lightweight horror movie guy. Scares were all right. I think Insidious Chapter 3 had better scares.
See, and this is where I'm gonna give some major props to this movie. Is the vibe of this movie is dialed in perfectly.
Yeah,
like every single it's the environment, the vibe of what is going on is always there. You feel the dread.
Yeah, it was more tension that I was feeling and dread, the uneasiness of the area that they were showing. And I think that was the feeling more so than just boom, jump scare. And I'm okay with that. I'm not a big fan of jump scares. Not that I get scared of them, I think they're lazy.
It's just strange to me too, because again, I've watched Chris Stuckmann since I was in high school. 10 plus years I've been watching Stuckmann. I've watched him complain about things that happen in this movie. Pointless jump scares. I've seen Chris say he doesn't like this, and there are several pointless jump scares in this movie, and I'm like, was this a Chris Stuckmann choice? Was this a Neon choice? I'm left confused. And
Can I talk about my least favorite thing about the movie?
go ahead.
Let's hear it.
And then I think let's wrap it up and let's give our final rating on the movie.
Cool. It is kind of spoilers, so I won't go in depth with it, but it's the ending. I hate that ending.
Agreed.
What an awful ending. It's just bland. It's retreading waters that we've been over 30 different movies ago. It's like, he could have stuck the landing, and he didn't do anything different. He didn't change anything. It's just bland. I don't know, am I alone in that?
No, I agree with it. I agree that the ending didn't feel abrupt, but it felt dragged on a little bit. Like, it felt like the ending was like 10, 15 minutes, and it was okay. And then you kind of knew what was going to happen based off of the way they were framing it. And then it's just 10, 15 minutes of getting to that. And then at the snap of a finger, it's just, okay. And then credits. Well, that was a waste of 10, 15 minutes.
Agreed.
Overall, I'm left feeling very mixed on Shelby Oaks. I'm feeling a strong 5 on this movie. I think there are good things about it, and I think there are bad things about it. I think that Chris Stuckmann has shown a lot of promise here with the vibe and the tone of this movie. I think that is very dialed in, and he's probably sick of hearing it at this point. For his next movie, maybe he directs something that somebody else wrote. Because clearly he can get performances out of his actors. Clearly he can set the stage. Clearly he can do all of these things well. Just the screenplay and the story of this movie just didn't work for me. And that's where I'm at. Dave?
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm going to go with a 5 on this one. I didn't hate it the entire way through. I wasn't bored the entire way through. But at the end, I kind of left the theater thinking to myself, that was an okay experience. Like, I would not recommend this movie, but I think if somebody had a certain amount of time to watch a scary movie, I think I might recommend a different one over this.
Oh, yeah. Jay?
I'm giving it a 4. And it would be at a 3 if it weren't for that first 10 minutes. Because this movie does nothing new outside of those first 10 minutes. And everything past that first 10 minutes, this feels like a Goosebumps episode. I just don't care.
Those are our thoughts on Shelby Oaks. You guys let us know in the comments down below. And also, we've got a special guest here, Shawnee Boy.
Hi.
Sean's got a couple questions for us. He hasn't seen the movie yet. Sean, if you want to throw some questions our way, and we'll answer them
Absolutely.
in about two minutes.
How does the movie trailer portray the movie, if that makes sense?
I think the movie trailer was really similar to Weapons, if you've seen that movie trailer.
Okay.
Where it gave off a lot in this direction.
But then,
And then something happened
But it
over
pulls
here.
you completely different direction with the movie.
Yeah.
Basically, it's almost somewhat misleading to the point of.
I wouldn't say misleading because this stuff does happen, but it just completely ignores anything to do with the entire last third of the movie.
Okay.
And I think this is another one where I almost wish I didn't see a trailer.
Yeah.
Right. Because when I watched the trailer, it was more of a horrifying-ish looking film. Everyone's like, oh, it's hereditary, it's blah, 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 blah.
It is very unsettling.
And I'm asking you guys, is it unsettling? Is it not settling? But
It gets to a point where the unsettling is a little goofy. It's the dogs. I'm
There we
like,
go.
what are we doing with the dogs?
Okay.
These are just regular dogs. What are we? They're supposed to be hellhounds, but
Also, you couldn't get a dog?
Yeah.
Why did we use CGI dogs?
that was the most
They didn't
bizarre
do anything
choice.
that insane.
No.
You could just have a normal ass dog.
Yeah.
And save a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Next question, Sean.
okay, the next one has to be the last one. Was the score and the movie cinematography helped dialed in the horror aspect of it, or did it not
That's
really
the
help
thing.
at all?
I can't even remember the music in this movie. I can't even speak to the score. I will say the music had to have been good for the vibe of this movie to be as uncomfortable as it is at times. Clearly it worked. And
Right.
sometimes not noticing something is the biggest compliment. I will say, sure, I'll say the score was good.
Okay.
Cinematography, also phenomenal. That's one of the things I think is done really well in this movie, is the cinematography.
I concur. As the group cinematography,
Yeah.
I concur with that.
Okay.
There were some shots that had me going. That one in the beginning where she opens the door and you think it's going to be a found footage film, and then you see him shoot himself, and then it cuts to the other angle and it gets rid of the full
Yeah,
screen and
yep.
goes into a widescreen.
Very cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, anybody that writes babies into their movies and stuff happening to the babies, fetch you. I hate it when you do that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in for this episode of the Amiibros. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, once again, like the video if you liked our video. Comment your thoughts down below if you agree with our opinions, if you disagree with our opinions, or if you just want to say hello. And don't forget to subscribe. We'd love to have you. And with that one, we'll see you.
Peace.